What you're looking at is a Funraise campaign site. This is built on our tools, but of course tailored to the YMCA message here. A few things I want to point out that this YMCA is doing really well. First of all, they're leveraging a live progress bar. So we can see they are super close to hitting their annual goal, which is amazing. Usually that helps get people excited, helps encourage folks to give. We can see they've almost impacted 2,000 lives just with what they've raised through this annual campaign. They're implementing all of those bells and whistles that Justin mentioned on the donation form. They've got recurring giving. They've got an AI ask string here. They're leveraging those DAF and stock donations as well as their digital wallet. So again, kind of tying in those pieces of that strategy right here in their annual campaign. Something else that this, oh yeah, and there's that abandoned donation pop-up. It's not going to let me forget. Even if I come back to the site another day, I can pick up where I left off. I love highlighting this example as well because they do a great job of contextualizing some gift amounts here. Usually what I see with membership-based organizations is there's always that push and pull of how do I get a due-paying member to become a donor. And oftentimes one of the biggest and best ways to do that is to really spell out and explain to a member why they should give and what impact their gift would make. Here, I can clearly see if I were to donate $300, I'm going to be able to give the life-saving skill of swim lessons to 2 children. Or maybe I can provide childcare for a family that otherwise couldn't afford it. These tangible impacts to their gifts is a great way to encourage folks to give. And again, they're making it really easy for folks to be able to come in and do that. Again, this is a really beautifully designed page. I'm actually going to show you how they're built too, just so you can see a peek behind the scenes. But one last strategy that I want to show here that they've got cooking is their peer-to-peer. So this YMCA does a great job of leveraging their board members, their campaigners, really anyone that's wanting to give back to the organization. They have the ability to create their own pages, share why they want to fundraise for the why. Of course, all those bells and whistles of the donation experience come into play here. These campaigners can easily share on social or share this with their network, but that is typically what we see kind of take that fundraising effort to the next level, is really to enable those ambassadors to easily fundraise on behalf of the Y. This is a great way to get an organic audience with new donors. So it's just a really good example of kind of all of those strategies put into action. In fact, this YMCA, we've actually done a case study on them because they're one of our longest standing Y clients and have just implemented the Funraise platform to the T. And we can see that in the numbers. They've grown over 2.5x in the last 4 years, raised over $1 million from over 5,000 donors. I showed you that peer-to-peer feature. They've enabled over 600 peer-to-peer fundraisers to advocate on their behalf. So it's definitely like a classic use case of Funraise and how they're using our tools. So wanted to show you that. I'll also show you, just real quick how that is built and done. So we make it super easy to do that too. Not only do we provide support to do this, our team can come in and help you build these, but even someone like myself who is by trade not a web designer, I can come in here and even while on a webinar and talking and clicking, I can create something that looks really professional and nice. I'm a big fan of like video background that can be really engaging. Say we're fundraising for one of our camps, we can come in here and build something that is really intuitive. We can have countdowns if this is time bound. We can come in and add those impact tiles like you saw on Long Beach's site. So, just want to kind of show you that super easy for our Y clients to be able to whip these up, in a matter of a few clicks. So wanted to show you that. Justin also mentioned that we've got a very exciting new feature, and that's our pledge automation. So super excited to share this with you all today. You all are some of the very first folks that I'm demoing this for, so thank you for being my guinea pigs. We've designed this feature, as you can imagine, with YMCAs specifically in mind. In fact, we crowdsourced feedback and research from our existing YMCA clients. Special shout out to YMCA of Dayton. I know you all were very critical in helping us launch this, so thank you all. And we know that pledges are a core part of the way that YMCAs fundraise. and that managing pledges can sometimes be a bit difficult to track, to report on, to make easy to access for staff and campaigners. So with this new feature, we're making it super easy for campaigners and YMCA staff alike to fulfill pledge payments, to give them access to be able to have more control and visibility into attainment in real time. For those that aren't familiar, this is the back end of Funraise. There's plenty of ways to use this to manage your donor stewardship and report here, but what we're really going to focus on is that new pledge feature. You'll see that titled commitments here. So what I can do as a YMCA staff member, if someone has raised their hand, they want to pledge a gift amount, I can come in here and add that. Perhaps I'm getting $1,000 pledge here today, going to be fulfilled over the course of a year. I'll go ahead and make sure that that's added to that supporter's profile. So I've tied it to the supporter. I can even come in and add a payment method. But what's super exciting too is I can also make sure that this is being reflected on our annual campaign page. So this is where, on that progress bar, I can see these pledges also attributing to that live thermometer. So I've gone ahead and created a new commitment. We can see that right here in the platform. So I've pledged to $1,000 this year. We can see I haven't made any payments towards it yet. There's $1,000 remaining. What that means is anytime I make a gift or Dani, the supporter here, makes a gift, any gift that comes through is going to attribute to that pledge attainment and start working that number down. So that's automated, nothing extra you all need to do there. So that's exciting. Pledge payments can also be added as a YMCA staff. You can come in here and add a new payment, whether that's offline or online or as a charge. We can come in and make payments towards that pledge. As a YMCA staff member, I can come in here and report on these pledges. I can create some views around amounts, due dates, how much is left. I can create dashboards. So there's going to be a lot of visuals here that you can help to report on and make sure that you're forecasting the proper amounts through these pledges year over year. And then the last piece that I want to talk about with this feature is, as some may know, we do have a donor portal. Super convenient for donors to be able to manage their gifts, access receipts, access annual summaries, manage their peer-to-peer pages, you name it. And that's what I've opened up here. But now we've also added that pledge or commitment piece as well. We can see that $1,000 pledge that I just added to the Funraise platform is already here in my donor portal. As a campaigner, I can see where I'm at in terms of pacing for my pledge attainment. If I'm a campaigner that's perhaps soliciting gifts out in the wild, I can even come in here and make a payment towards that pledge. Maybe a business that I've solicited has, graciously offered to make $100 gift. I can come in here and add that. Oops, looking a little too quick here for you, but we can submit that payment and charge it right here in platform. That's going to reflect right here on that payment. So now I can see, great, I'm 10% of the way done. That's super motivating for me as a campaigner to be able to see this in real time. As a YMCA staff member, it means you're not having to pull a report or send these to your campaigners to try and keep them up to speed. But of course, you'll have great visuals and scheduled reports that you can build in the Funraise platform. But all that to say, I'm really excited about this feature as someone who has been working with YMCAs pretty nonstop over the last several years. We're really excited to show this commitment to the YMCA strategy.